Hold it back! Oh, hey guys, you're just in time for another Patreon board. Yeah, you know the drill. Because I have patrons in this request tier, they get their movie or webcomic reviewed. And we're starting with a real stinker. Or as the movie critic dude requested, I do Tentacolino. Hold it back, I said! Tentacolino was the creation of MondoTV, an Italian-based company known for mostly TV and film distribution in Europe. Mostly Japanese-based programs with their own dubs. However, in addition, they have made their own animated movies, and among them were 2 movies based on the real-life sinking of the Titanic. In fact, what we're looking at is a sequel to The Legend of the Titanic, which came out in 1999 that basically was a crappy love story loosely inspired by the James Cameron movie, that also tried to subvert the tragedy so that it would be a complete happy ending. In a somewhat unrelated matter, there would be another animated Titanic movie called Titanic: The Legend Goes On, but it wasn't by MondoTV despite its Italian origins. But that didn't stop Mondo from making another Titanic movie anyway. 5 years later, they decided, hey, we haven't done enough damage to this tragedy already, so let's make a follow-up. How do you follow up on the Titanic sinking anyway? Well, Asylum Films wouldn't be able to for many more years, and honestly, after this, you'd wish that fan-made trailer of a fake Titanic 2 where they revive Jack's corpse would actually come true. I mean, really, my friend the cartoon hero had to put up with this movie before, and it brought forth a chaotic monster. This is just a remnant, but still, it's so bad, you'd wish you could kill it. Like this movie. Hold the door! So, while my scale gets fueled up, let's get this movie out of the way. This is Tentacolino, or as it probably should have been called, Search for the Titanic. The film opens with screen caps from the previous movie, as if to remind you of what happened in case you forgot after 5 years. Considering how bad that one was, I would want to forget too. And apparently, 3 years have passed, and for some reason the main characters want to go back to find the damn wreckage. Great idea! Let's go back to the ship that we nearly died on, that probably scarred us for life, and would be hard to move on from. In the way of returning characters, the humans are named Don Juan and Elizabeth, while the mice are Top Connors and Ronnie, and the dog was named Smiley in the original, but for some reason they changed it to just Smile. And that's not the only thing they changed. They, and others like them, have new voices. But speaking of the animals, they were one of the things that made the first animated Titanic movie fail. As because Mondo thought children couldn't bear to just have human characters, they did what some animation studios would do by having talking animals in it. Though the reason humans could understand them was one of the dumbest things in history.
You can understand us thanks to a net of magic moonbeams that caught your tears as they fell into the water. We added a little magic of our own, and voila! The spell was cast.
And by the way, you could watch anyone else's review of the first movie, and it'd be the same as my opinion on it. Just saying. But what makes these two unlikable for me is that not only are they annoying, but also very speciest.
And you know what I always say? Never trust anyone who lives with a cat.
Even though there were only ever 3 cats in that movie, and none of them did anything to you other than just be a cat. Anyone who says not to trust cat owners is like saying don't trust someone from a fandom.
Well, okay, you got a point, but I still don't like them. They're untrustworthy and nasty things. Sharks, indeed. They're worse than cats.
And you too, asshole! We get shown to the sharks from the first movie, led by their yet-to-be-shown leader, Razorteeth, originally named Mr. Ice in the first movie. Because I guess anything human-made that dares drop into the ocean means an invasion of territory, they inform the boss while they go to beat up on the thing to no avail. After a rather drawn-out transition sequence, we see Razorteeth and...
Yo, 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 look at my teeth. They're so sharp and white and neat. They bring on fear and even some terror. Once they shed, I make no error. With no doubt, and needless to say, the feast is taken with the prey. With no doubt, and needless to say, the feast is taken.
Well, someone had to take the full blunt of that. This, more or less, tells you how the rest of the movie will go. Besides stock footage and really bad animation, I mean, look at these fish for crying out loud. This song is just awful. The voice work is unappealing, and I can barely understand half of the lyrics. And the ones I can understand are just about stroking his ego. But would you believe me when I say that this is the highlight of the movie? Oh yeah, we're just getting started, but you are not ready for what comes next. Anyway, he's informed about the yellow sphere and wants to take it down because...
I hate that color. I can't stand yellow. You know, it's a color of light. It's the color of the sun.
What are you, a vampire now? Whatever. They head back to the sphere, which apparently has stopped by the sharks somehow, and Razorteeth decides they should bite the cables connecting the thing. Yeah, I can understand maybe the oxygen tube being easy to bite off, but steel? No. Unless you're Arlong and can regenerate teeth after biting stone, you should not be able to bite into steel like this. Well, they succeed, meaning all of our heroes are going to die due to a lack of oxygen. Razorteeth goes to get his teeth clean after disposing of the intruders, and then goes to communicate with the surface world.
To the Right Honorable Baron Vandertilt, your lordship, it is my pleasure to inform you that in accordance with your wishes, I have just destroyed an underwater expedition. I am sure the said expedition was searching for the wreck of the Titanic.
What the hell? It's the dude from the first movie! In that, he was named Maltravers, and his goal was to marry Elizabeth so he could inherit her father's fortune and start his whaling regime. He and his cohorts were thought to be lost at the end of that movie, but I guess they made it back and once again are still in cahoots with the sharks. Somehow! They never explain why they can understand the sharks then, and they won't explain it here. And now for some reason, Baron Von Tilt, as he's going by now, is ensuring that any expeditions to the Titanic wreckage are stopped. Why? Why is that a thing? Funny enough, his old voice actor, Gregory Snigoff, is now the voice of Smile. And I can see why. Evil man becomes a bad dog. You'll understand why. Going back for a moment, Tentacles, now called Adi, finds the sunken sphere with his friends inside and tries to save them. Even though he was strong enough to hold the two halves of the Titanic together for a good while, he can't seem to free a small bathysphere from the rocks. As to why his design includes a mammalian nose? I guess they wanted him to be like Kimba. But wait, who is that?
Whoa! Stop that, Adi! What you're doing is useless!
Because there are merfolk now! And would you believe this is not the most insane aspect of this movie? Yes, that's saying something when even they say that because they think they wouldn't be able to get them to the surface in time with low oxygen, they would take them to Atlantis after giving them breathing apparatuses. They could still take them to the surface this way, yet they choose to take them to Atlantis. Question, where's the fair logic? Or the consistency? Listen to this.
But where's Smile?
Smile?
I'm talking about the dog. What's happened to him?
The dog's doing well. I'll take him.
Except they only ever opened the hatch one other time just to get in and give everyone bubbles. And there was no instance of them taking Smile out beforehand. And now it's like the mermaid goes back in and is not seen when Adi grabs the human characters.
Great continuity!
What's happening?
Don't worry.
Help! I'm dead! Come help me! Help me!
Everything's
This isn't
okay.
happening!
Keep calm. You're safe now. Keep calm. You're all safe.
No, I'm dead. And you're taking me to doggy hell. And none of this is fair at all. Why is this happening to me? I've always been good. Yeah, I chased cats, and when I was a puppy, I stole some nice juicy steak, but that isn't a good enough reason for this.
Smile, please. If I learned anything from dog movies is that you can be as evil as you want to be and still go to heaven. Because everyone is pro-dog in these movies.
I haven't changed into the devil, or have I?
You're right. I'm so stupid not to have realized. You're beautiful. It's the shock. This place is really amazing.
You aren't even inside yet! So they get inside where they reveal that they're going to give everybody a special treatment that will enable them to breathe water. Okay. This place looks more like with Fishman Island, where most of this place is nothing but an air pocket and with few water-filled rooms. If you're just treating them for a short while before maybe getting them home, why would you ever... I know what's about to happen. But first, we get introduced to even more annoyances. We have this strange spring-hopping fish named Pingo, who really likes to make parties. And his friends, which include a dolphin, some moving rockman chair, and this strange ray-like fish with a mammalian face and fur. Why? Then we get introduced to the king and his queen.
Yay, they're here!
It'll be great.
They're at the doctor's now, and they're undergoing the treatment there.
Yes, I know. We've been told.
What's next?
We have to find the best way of solving the problem.
Of course, it'll be easy. All we have to do is convince them there was no alternative. They could have died, or they could have been brought here, where they'll have to stay for the rest of their lives.
And this is the start of where all the madness and insanity of this movie comes into play. So, they saved the main cast, and without thinking to ask them if they want to stay here and live forever, they are on board with possibly lying to them about their soon-to-be-acquired immortality, and that they have to live here forever. This act of forcing people to stay in Atlantis is about to open up many problems that this movie just brings up because of this. We rejoin our heroes as they admire the city and try asking questions.
So before you were like us and then you changed into what you are now?
Are you telling me we'll really be able to breathe underwater without wearing any masks?
But tell me, have you got any idea how deep we are?
What have you got to eat down here? Ugh, I'm starving.
Please, bear with me a little longer. All your questions will be answered in a while, but I'm afraid I cannot answer them now.
Don't you mean?
I don't even have time to explain why I don't have time to explain.
Apparently, to complete the treatment, they have to drink an elixir. Not telling them what it really is, of course, and they go to explore the city via moving bridge. Eventually, they arrive at the place where Pingo is to meet them, and apparently they hired the Buckingham Palace guards.
We are expected by His Excellency Pingo, Counselor to His Majesty. He would like to speak to the new arrivals.
Huh? I don't believe it. Aren't those toys?
Okay, how would you know if they were toys? They're way too big to be toy soldiers and lack toy limbs. Actually, look at all of them. Some of them are about the size of a small child at times, and they say they rescued them? How is this all possible? What, does somebody in Atlantis have the Hobie Hobie no Me power? Does Sugar live here? And the truth is that you turn the rescued people into living toys? Speaking of, as Pingo tells them about how great this place is and that they'll be happy, Smile says something smart for once.
You know what? There's something very fishy going on here, guys.
Gee, it's like they're hiding something from you and it's against your current interests. After another crappy song with some weird techno music to it.
Atlantis is the only place where you always stay awake.
The water is fresh, you can swim around at the fish hotel. It's a real cool sound. Coming to my shelter doesn't cost her a dime. Every single day, it's always party time. Bubble, bubble, darling, trouble don't mean a thing.
They learn from him that they can never go back to the surface. Naturally, they react like, oh no! But when they go to the king and queen about this, they are cool with it.
I would also like to thank you on behalf of my companions.
But then why aren't your companions here with you? Your friends aren't still getting over the shock of the news, are they?
No, they're still a bit surprised by it, but they understand that we had no choice in the matter. We'd either have been left there to die, or we could have been brought safely here to Atlantis, however not able to return to our world.
Bullshit! So you're telling me you would be fine with leaving your family behind, who, by the way, they do show Elizabeth's parents in one clip, and any friends you might have had on the surface? What about you, Connors? You're married! Yeah, they had him get married to some random mouse girl we saw a few times. No build-up or character development, by the way. And in fact, that movie was all told through flashback from a much older Connors. It almost feels like this movie is doing what the Cloudy with Meatball movies did by having the sequel take place in between the first movie's ending and what would have been the first movie's credit ending, while retconning the latter. But here it's even worse, as there is no way that Connors can ever be an old man now, because he's immortal. And he's stuck in Atlantis. Oops! But really, immortality isn't something you can just accept, because then you have to live with the fact that mortals die around you as you age forever, and will have to live with the pain of losing people and never keep a connection. It would drive people mad. But what I will never understand in this movie is why it's so impossible for anyone to just return to the surface. Now that they have water-breathing power and immortality, what's stopping them? Moving on, Smile finds this dog that he falls for, and they share an overly long sequence together. Kinda awkward too. While the mice meet some pirate rat and his stereotypical Asian buddy. No, really, his voice even sounds stereotypical.
You're Lottie, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're Top Cutters, right?
And who are you? Some kind of psychic?
Yeah.
They take the two to a secret underground gathering spot for rats, even though these two are mice, where their leader is declaring his intentions to everyone.
We should not be here in Atlantis. It is totally unjustified.
Right, bravo! Yes, yes, well said.
We're prisoners here, and like all prisoners, we have the right to escape. That's exactly what we'll do.
Now see, this is what happens when you force people to live in your eternal city.
Let's take a huge stash of the elixir of life with us. Then we'll be able to go back up to the surface, and thanks to the elixir, we'll be able to conquer the world and rule over everyone.
And apparently the writers felt the need to make them all evil by making them want to rule the world, somehow. And the sharks and the Baron are in on it. Huh? Ronnie and Connors tell everyone about this, and they decide to come up with a plan to foil their attempt to steal the elixir of life. And this is what is said.
Listen to me carefully. I've decided that you'll help those rebels in every way possible. Ronnie and Top Connors will have to gain the trust of the rebels' leader and do everything they tell them to, even if it means stealing the elixir of life. No arguments. Do you understand?
I'm ready to serve, Your Majesty.
Must prepare for battle.
All we have to do is win.
And you do realize there are women and children among them, right? More reason to maybe think that the reason they don't like being forced to live down here is because there are families that actually want to be a normal family and not be away from their surface friends. And because they don't show us how everyone they rescue actually lives down here, I often question what it is these merfolk are really like. Yet they treat this like, oh, it's not a big deal. We can handle it. It's their own fault they don't want to live forever. Seriously, by the end of this movie, I would feel more sympathy for the rats than anyone else in this movie. World domination thing aside, the merfolk drove them to this madness, and our heroes are enabling them to do it some more. This is the worst kind of animal persecution yet, and I thought cats had it rough as it is. This movie alone shows no mercy to even children. That's how bad it is. So anyway, the plan is to have Ronnie and Connors go join the rats to monitor them, and then when needed, assist Pingo, Smile, and the other animals in sabotaging the elixir theft. Juan and Elizabeth do nothing for basically the rest of the film. Our heroes. Look at this action sequence. When the rats try to get the elixir, they engage with Pingo and friends.
Hey, over here!
It's like I'm playing Batman Arkham Knight, only worse! Through the power of bad frame rates, they swap the real elixir with the one filled with water, in a room that's nothing but water. Try figuring that one out. So while the mice go to join the other rats, Smile and the others regroup where they prepare for the big battle against the sharks. As well as unarmed men, women, and children, of course. And Smile wants to join just to get revenge on the Kung Fu rat for socking him in the nose. That's all.
Hey, Adi!
Well, that was random. So the merfolk begin chasing the rebels while the sharks assist them in the escape. Why are they helping?
Oh, we are agreed. You and your rats take the land, and I'll take the seas and the ocean.
What does that one rat have to do with all this? He's powerless! The only other help they're getting is from the Baron. And it's as dumb as they make it sound.
And it's also perfectly clear that the risk of losing the treasure is very high. Give the order to launch the mini-submarine so we can help the rats and sharks in the battle against the mermen and mermaids.
They just keep on dropping. I mean, wow. At least now we know why they were stopping expeditions, which is because of some treasure on the Titanic. But that one bit of dialogue, him saying to help the rats and sharks against the merfolk, you can't possibly say that with a straight face. In fact, a lot of this movie's dialogue is mostly direct with you in explaining what exactly is happening without letting the scenes speak for themselves. Rather than keep it short and simple, they have to go through every single character that might be involved in whatever scheme or plan is, like we might forget otherwise. This movie treats you like an idiot who is incapable of understanding its own crazy-ass logic. Also, who gave Smile a laser gun? Why the hell does a dog have a laser gun? I thought you were just chasing them, not trying to murder any innocents. Yeah, whatever. The king sends out the toy cavalry to deal with the human subs coming at them. And we get a random subplot about this Scottish toy that had girl hair because of his owner. What are you trying to tell me, movie? It's wrong to cross-dress, sexism, whatever. What is the point of this? He shoots down a sub and gets promoted. What? Is this like my world? You kill one player and you get a rank up? He doesn't even do this for long. He stops to blow the bagpipes. What is the point of this character?
I'm so confused.
By the way, those cannons make the subs explode, and yet later they show guys in scuba gear ejecting from them, possibly to avert the indication of murder. After a short while, they send in these missiles, that shoot lasers at the humans so they forget about what the hell they were doing. I wish I could forget about what was going on. They even attack the Baron's ship, and he and his lackey get the same effect too. They wrap up the attack, allow the rest to return to the surface, but not before Smile gets his revenge. The good dog of this movie, everybody. And the only reason they were against letting people go was in case Atlantis was ever revealed. Well, that's stupid because the Baron's men had no problem finding it. You are very bad at hiding your own damn city. Also, the king is a dick.
Instead, we had to let all the guilty ones free.
And what makes you think they aren't getting what they deserve? Huh?
You! Again, who was it that drove them to this? Who was it that forced whole families and other shipwreckies to stay in their seemingly perfect city without ever asking them to, or give them any opportunity to return home to whatever family or friends they had before? They probably would never have wanted to turn against humanity if you'd just help them get home if they so want to. And you have the freaking mind erasing tech to ensure Atlantis would stay out of their minds. You could have just done what mermaids have done and taking them back to land then. So of course, the leader tries to convince the land rats that the elixir will let them breathe in the water too, just as they can live forever. But when they try it on this old-timer, he nearly drowns. And now all of those unwilling participants are to be outcasts or treated like crazies in some mental institute. Yep, what a lesson. But now, it's time for the biggest funk you moment of the entire movie.
Let's go check it out!
Wait for it. Wait for it.
Oh, you found it then! Oh, can't you feel? We've started moving again!
What? Here is the reward we promised you. This island is now yours, and this will be your new home. This is a secret island, unreachable by anyone, and here you will live happily ever after.
Damn it, Wade! That's right. As a reward in stopping the rebels from escaping with the elixir, they repaired the Titanic and brought it back up to some secret island where our heroes can live on it forever, while getting visits from their Atlantean friends. So, as if they haven't already negated the tragedy of the Titanic, they decide to raise it up to become the dream home of two humans who didn't even do anything during this entire movie. Like, what is the lesson in all this? What was the point? You know, they say that a trailer or a review can only tell you so much, and that you should see something in its entirety before you can say for sure it's bad than most. Well, I saw this entirely, and I can say what was said is true, and that it really is worse than Food Fight or the English dub of Dougal. Whereas Dougal was just a bad localization to an otherwise decent British movie, and Food Fight being a badly produced original product, Tentacolino manages to be the worst out of any animated movie out there, or even as an original. Nothing is ever subtle. Everything is told to you like you need to know the steps to the plot, so there's never any tension to it. The animation quality might seem a tiny bit better than the original in terms of coloring, but the constant use of stock footage, looping animation, and drops in frame rate just make it feel worse in actuality. The human characters are utterly useless, and that they do nothing for anything in the plot. The animal characters are still annoying, the song sequences are awful, and the reasons for keeping people in Atlantis not only make no sense, but they set it up so that it's wrong to deny any chance of returning home. Like, the real villains of this movie are the Atlanteans, who punish any who defy their generosity without considering for others' feelings. But of course, the biggest middle finger it could ever give you is they once again give our heroes a happy ending without them even earning it. And as an added bonus, just completely erase any possible tragedy by restoring a lost vessel to the sea. These people don't know anything about what it means to lose something, and will do whatever it takes to make it all better in the end. You might say Fairy Tail does that too much, and you might be right on some accounts, but even they let people die or stay dead. This is too mushy for anybody's tastes, and it must not be allowed to last. Good. Mobilize the skill! Evil remnant, prepare to eat steel! Let's